Well, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally, and I mean literally, does not work. So let's get open for business here, and let's wake up the lights for the football gods who are down here ready to rock and roll. And guys, ladies, friends, frenemies, trolls, and all around jackasses. Whether you like or hate the Dallas Cowboys are on the practice field today. The very first practice, it'll be open to the fans out there. It will be great. Wow. The offseason is over. The offseason is over, and let me say happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday, Zeke Elliott. Today is your day back on the football field. Everybody is there. Everybody's ready to rock and roll. And after Michael Irvin going all in on the Dallas Cowboys, literally putting a foot in their behind and saying that they're not about winning, it seems Jerry Jones is listening and said that basically that they're getting close to that 85% threshold for COVID vaccines. You know, the way to look at this is we can't afford to lose anybody for any length of time. We just can't. We need everybody there ready to go. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And so when you think about the COVID vaccine and, you know, that if you've had the vaccine, there's less chances, of course, of getting it or no chance. However, you know, I don't want to get into a discussion here. But in the same way, in the off season, you do everything to get ready for the season. You know, you're lifting weights, you're running, you know, you're getting surgery on your ankle or, you know, whatever body part it is. You're trying to do everything to prevent injury and missed time and to make yourself the best athlete possible. And as we look at Zeke here, Zeke is going to be one of those guys that I think is definitely out for redemption. And I believe, this is just my own personal opinion, I can be completely wrong. And that's what most sports shows are about these days. And am I a sports show? I don't know if I'm a sports show or not, but they're all very opinion-based. I mean, we all know that the opinion at ESPN is we hate the Dallas Cowboys and they suck and they're only good in the offseason and so forth. But it's my belief that if you remember last year, literally a month before training camp, we found out that Zeke had COVID and was out for 2 weeks and was low-key faded. He ain't that way this year. And we don't want to have anybody having any of that effect during the season because it can be more than just 2 weeks' time that you miss. If you look at Cam Newton's season before he tested positive for COVID and was out, and then after, it almost looked like two different players. And as the Dallas Cowboys, we need everybody on deck because not only do the Dallas Cowboys have 17 opponents on their schedule, they also have to be ready to fight the ESPNs, the Fox Sports 1, all of the hosts that say you're not the ones. So they need to make sure they do everything possible. And the thing I will say is this, and like I said, I don't want to get into philosophy or anything else, but when I go out and drive in my car, I don't expect to be in a car accident. I don't. But I got two things that are there just in case shit happens. I put on a seatbelt and I have insurance. Two things are only for in case shit happens. That's what the vaccine is. In case you get around somebody else who has it that you don't. And so that's where we are. I'm curious to hear if Michael Irvin has any applause or anything like that. And I have to get a shout out to Drew Pearson, who's going in the Hall of Fame in 2 weeks, who is actually an advocate of people getting vaccinated and so forth. And I'm sure I've lost a bunch of people here and they're going to cuss me out and stuff, but that's fine. You won't be the first person or the last that will cuss me out. But here we are. the thing that I am so most excited about with this team is guys fighting for an opportunity. Having been blessed with having a conversation and listening to all these questions to Jimmy Johnson and Cliff Harris and Drew Pearson, as well as John Lynch and, all these guys, and picking up some of the things that made them, we always focus, that number one draft pick, that cream of the crop. But you think about Drew Pearson being an undrafted free agent and going through and trying to get just a chance and an opportunity and having that hunger, that drive to do anything and everything he can to succeed, to literally stalking Roger Staubach at the football field that he knew he worked out to make sure I'm going to be there. I don't know if it's going to be 8 a.m. or 10 p.m., 10 o'clock afternoon. I'm going to sit in my car and wait here till Roger goes so I can work out with him. That's dedication. That's commitment. That's drive. That is, I'm never going to give up. And too many times, we've got guys that have kind of like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm good. Check the film because, people who know I'm doing my stuff. You know what? You cannot ever be satisfied with what you're doing. I don't care how good you are. Things rise and they come crashing down. And if you are not willing to look inside yourself and say, I still have a lot to accomplish, you're not going to be up on top for very long. You're not going to be on top for long. And the thing I have said over and over and over again to literally probably drive a lot of you crazy is this Dallas Cowboys, this group of guys, this generation, this team 2021 is guys that are going to have to fight for their right to become a Dallas Cowboy. And they're going to have to fight to stay a Dallas Cowboy. There's so many guys that you looked at and said, oh, yeah, they got a job. You could look at 6 months ago and say, Tristan Hill, second-round draft pick. Yeah. He's not going to have to worry about anything. He's got to do better, but he ain't got no problem making the roster. You can look at a guy like Carlos Watkins, who signed a deal probably thinking, got no defensive line. I got, great shot to not only make the team, but be a starter. That guy is on the outside looking in. You think about the Cowboys who you figure that Joe Looney would still be here, backing up the offensive line after all the woes we had, and he's not even here. And so everybody is looking around, even Connor Williams. Well, shoot, I'm on the last year of my deal. I played good. I was one of the most consistent offensive linemen that we had, and I played and didn't get injured, but he is one of those guys that are looking and saying, I've got to really show up if I want to get that contract. There's so many guys that are fighting. And what that's going to do is it's going to bring out more and more competition. I'm hoping that we will actually see guys get upset, flip their helmet off and you cuss at somebody. You hit me too hard, man. What are you doing? Yeah. I want these guys to have to earn their position, because when you earn something, as opposed to something being given to you, you cherish it more. You hold on tighter, and you damn sure are not going to let somebody take it away from you. And that is the number one thing that I think that the Dallas Cowboys have instilled this year. And my final note is, I'm a superstitious person. Go figure. I got a voodoo doll, right? For me, I have a lucky pair of socks that I always wore in football games. The one time I didn't wear that lucky pair of socks was when I tore my ACL. Superstitious. For every game, I would always take my helmet home. I would clean it and I put some wax on it. It just had to be there with me the night before a game. And the same way, my shot put. Instead of using the school one, I bought my own shot put. And my school colors were red and black. So I put a red stripe one way and a red stripe the other. I even made a bag to carry it in because I was superstitious. And before track meets, I would basically soak it in hot water so that way it would be warm and put it in the bag. So when I got out there, boom, it was warm against my face and stuff, especially on those early spring track meets when everybody else is like, that thing's cold. But you come up with things that are a ritual of getting you ready to go and earning that stuff and being that guy who nobody thinks is going to be there, gets that chip on the shoulder. I didn't see that chip on the shoulder last year on very many people on that defense. I looked at guys that were just kind of going through the motion. Guys that had no passion, no excitement, that would be anywhere but on that field. And that was a sad state being a lifelong Dallas Cowboy fan. In fact, that actually hurt, seeing guys that are just kind of, But with Jerry, maybe with his come to Jesus moment yesterday of admitting he was wrong, that he is the one to blame for the Dallas Cowboys' fertility. Is that the right word? I don't know. Maybe it's not. But for the Dallas Cowboys being screwed up, that was a major moment. And maybe, just maybe, this is wiping the slate clean, letting those 25 years go, and starting a new era. I'm excited, y'all. And I've got a lot of work to do between now and the Hall of Fame. And I am going to make sure that this guy stays hungry and cherishes every moment. We'll, of course, be keeping you up to date with any changes that are happening with the Dallas Cowboys. Let me give a shout out to my fellow YouTubers out there that will be there at training camp. I hope that they bring some great coverage. I know Law will be out there. I think Vosh will be there. I know my man Skywalker Steele, who's now working for A to Z Sports. Shout out to him getting that job. I know he'll be out there next week as well. And, maybe you like me or don't like me or what have you. That's cool. That's cool because everybody's got a different flavor and a different taste. And everybody brings you something a little bit different. But understand that all of these YouTubers out there work very, very hard. And I'm not talking about just the big guys like Vosh and Law and stuff. I'm talking about all of us. All of us are diehard Dallas Cowboys fans that want to bring you the best news, all the news on the Dallas Cowboys from that fan's perspective. And if it's me that you like, great. But don't just stop with me. Check them all out. Because right now, friends, it is
Let's get ready to rumble!
It's time for us to get out of here. I'll see you later.
Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe for the Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is